Have you ever noticed how failure doesn't just disappoint you? It quietly changes how you see yourself, not always in obvious ways, not always immediately, but gradually through setbacks, mistakes, rejection, missed opportunities, or moments where things simply didn't work out. Something internal can begin to shift. You may notice self doubt creeping in, a sense of hesitation where confidence once lived, or a voice that questions your worth, your competence, or your future. Or perhaps you have become cautious, guarded, or overly self critical, not because you lack ability, but because failure taught you to protect yourself. If any of this feels familiar, there is nothing wrong with you. You are not weak, broken, or incapable. What you are experiencing is something psychology understands very well: the emotional and neurological impact of failure on identity and self worth. My name is Renata Karlinskaite. I am psychotherapist and hypnotherapist, and I help people rebuild self-esteem, resilience, and inner stability after emotional setbacks, failure, or prolonged stress. In this video, I want to talk about how to face failure in a way that doesn't diminish you, but strengthens you. Not by denying what happened or forcing positivity, but by understanding how failure actually affects the mind and how growth truly occurs. And at the end of this video, I will share free guided self-esteem and grounding audio that can be especially helpful if failure has left you feeling discouraged, self-critical, or emotionally stuck. You will find the link in the description below. One of the most misunderstood aspects of failure is that it's treated purely as a mindset issue, as if you can simply think differently and move on. But psychology shows that failure is not just a cognitive experience, it's a nerve system experience. When you fail, especially after effort, hope, or vulnerability, your brain often interprets it as a threat to safety, a threat to belonging, and a threat to your sense of competence or identity. Research in neuroscience shows that perceived failure activates the same brain regions associated with social rejection and emotional pain. In response, the nerve system shifts into protection mode, which can show up as self-criticism, avoidance, perfectionism, emotional shutdown, or fear of trying again. So if failure made you more cautious, more self-doubting, or more guarded, this isn't a personal flaw. It's a biological response designed to prevent future pain. Understanding this is important because growth doesn't begin with self-judgment. It begins with self-awareness. Psychology shows that humans naturally link outcomes to identity. When something goes well, we think, I did well. When something fails, we think, I'm the problem. This is known as identity fusion, when experiences become evidence about who we are rather than what happened. Failure can quietly create beliefs such as, I'm not good enough, I can't trust myself, I always mess things up, or there is no point trying again. These beliefs don't appear because they are true, they appear because the brain is trying to create certainty after disappointment. One of the most powerful psychological shifts you can make is to separate who you are from what happened. Failure is an event, not an identity. Now, asking, why did I fail, isn't wrong. It's a very human question, and often it comes from a genuine desire to learn and do better. The difficulty is that when we ask this question while feeling hurt, disappointed, or shaken, our mind often answers it with self-blame instead of useful insight. Instead of pointing to specific factors or lessons, the answer quietly becomes because I'm not good enough, because I always mess things up, or because I shouldn't have tried. So the failure stops being about what happened and starts feeling like evidence about who you are. That's why it can be more helpful to begin with a gentler question. one that helps you understand your reaction without attacking your self-worth. Once emotional steadiness returns, learning comes much more naturally. Instead of starting with, why did I fail? A more supportive and practical question is, what did this experience teach me about trying? And why I feel more cautious now? Here's why this question matters. When something doesn't work out, your mind and body learn from it automatically. They don't learn in words, they learn through emotion. They might learn things like trying led to pain or disappointment. It's safer not to get my hopes up. Or putting myself out there feels risky now. So if you notice that after failure you feel more hesitant, more self-critical, or less confident, it doesn't mean you have become weak. It means your system is trying to protect you from getting hurt again. This question helps you understand why you have changed without judging yourself for it. For example, if after setback you avoid trying again, this question helps you see that avoidance isn't laziness, it's protection. And once you understand that, something important happens. You stop fighting yourself. Instead of forcing confidence or giving up entirely, you can rebuild trust gently at a pace that actually feels safe for you. This shift moves you out of self-blame and into understanding. And understanding helps you feel steadier, clearer, and more capable of moving forward. Many people believe resilience means returning to who you were before failure, but psychology shows that resilience isn't about going backwards, it's about integration. Research on post-adversity growth shows that people who emerge stronger are not those who deny failure or minimize pain, but those who allow the experience to reshape them consciously. Failure reorganizes the self, it highlights limits, it reveals values, it exposes unhelpful patterns, and sometimes it forces you to slow down and reassess. Instead of asking, how do I get back to who I was? A more healing question is, what did this failure ask me to learn? Not in a harsh or self-blaming way, but with curiosity. This is where strength actually develops. One of the strongest predictors of resilience after failure is self-compassion, not self-pity, not excuses, but the ability to respond to yourself with understanding rather than punishment. Neuroscience shows that self-criticism activates threat pathways in the brain, keeping you stuck in stress and avoidance. Self-compassion, on the other hand, activates calming systems that restore emotional regulation, problem-solving, and confidence. This means that being kind to yourself after failure isn't indulgent, it's strategic. A simple grounding sentence you can use is, this is hard, and I can support myself through it. That sentence alone can shift your nervous system from threat into safety, and safety is where growth begins. Another important psychological insight is this: confidence doesn't come from convincing yourself that you will not fail again. It comes from proving to yourself that you can cope, adapt, and recover, even if you do fail again. Research shows that self-efficacy, the belief that you can handle challenges, grows through small, consistent actions taken after setbacks. This might look like trying again in a smaller, safer way, setting realistic expectations instead of perfectionistic ones, allowing learning instead of demanding immediate success, or choosing progress over self-punishment. Each of these behaviors sends your brain a powerful message. I am capable of moving forward, and identity follows behavior. One of the quiet losses after failure is self-trust. You may stop trusting your decisions, your instincts, or your ability to judge situations accurately. But psychology shows that self-trust isn't built by never failing. It's built by staying connected to yourself when things go wrong. When you abandon yourself through harsh judgment, avoidance, or suppression, failure becomes traumatizing. When you stay present, reflective, and compassionate, failure becomes informative. A powerful reframe is this: I can trust myself to respond wisely, even when outcomes are uncertain. That belief is far more stabilizing than the illusion of control. If you have been feeling discouraged, hesitant, or unsure of yourself after failure, please hear this. Failure did not diminish your worth, it revealed your humanity. And with awareness, compassion, and support, it can deepen your strength rather than define your limits. You are not behind and you are not incapable. You are in a process of integration. If you would like support with this, I have created a free guided self-esteem and grounding audio designed to calm the nervous system, soften self-criticism, and help you regain inner stability after setbacks. You'll find the link in the description below. And if you feel ready to go deeper, to reprogram the beliefs shaped by past failures and rebuild confidence at a subconscious level, you can explore my digital course with Hypnosis, the hidden secret to healthy self-esteem. If this video supported you, please subscribe and share it with someone who may be struggling quietly after failure. You are not defined by what didn't work. You are shaped by how you meet yourself afterward. And that truly matters.